it's Destiny back with another video. You are watching the Desamania channel on YouTube. It's Wednesday, and you know what that means. No, not AEW Dynamite. They had their show last night, but for 1 week only. They'll be back on schedule next week. No, today is the second episode of Wrestle World Wednesday for October 11th, 2023. I think today is Taz's birthday. I don't remember. I think so. If it is, happy birthday, Taz. If it isn't, I'm sorry. Got a lot to discuss today. Like, is CM Punk really headed to WWE? Brian Pillman Jr. denounces the Pillman name. Triple H reportedly given 99.9% of control of WWE and creative going forward. And yeah, it's going to be a good show. It's going to be a good show today. Let's get the less important one out of the way first. I mean, no offense to Brian Pillman Jr., but last night on the AEW NXT Tuesday Night War, on the NXT side, they aired another vignette for Brian Pillman Jr. in NXT. And they showed him watching footage of his dad on the TV screen. And he cut a promo and he said, "I'm nobody's junior. Hey, everybody used to tell me how good my father was and give me fond memories of my father. You all knew him, but I didn't. So I will be taking on the name that is of the man who raised me, which is King," which actually is weird because didn't he say that, I mean, I guess this is storyline purposes, but like, didn't he say like in Dark Side of the Ring that his stepdad was a freaking piece of crap and like locked him in his room and stuff? Like, I mean, I guess this is storyline purposes, so I guess Brian Jr. is going to be heel. But he's denouncing the Pillman name, and his name that he's going to be taking on, I thought he was going to be like taking on Brian King, but no, it's going to be Lexis King, which actually there is a meaning behind that, so it's not like it's like out of the blue. I mean, Brian Pillman Jr. would have been fine, or just Brian King. Like, he could have just denounced the Pillman name, but I think it's in tribute to his sister that he's taking on Lexis King, which is fine. It's not great, but it's fine. I like that they explained it at least. And that's what I think of that. I think he's going to do great. Now, there's also people out there, we're going to be talking about some AEW stuff too. We're going to be talking about Edge in a minute. But Edge had his debut match with Luchasaurus last night on AEW Dynamite. It was a good match. I like the ending of the match where he takes the TNT Championship into the ring. He grabs it from Christian Cage and he hits Luchasaurus with it and actually hands it back to Christian. And then Luchasaurus turns around and he thinks Christian hit him with the belt, and Christian's like, "It's not me. It wasn't me." And it's like, Edge wins the match that way. He does kind of like the Eddie Guerrero spot with the belt, which I thought was freaking awesome. I'm not going to review the shows or anything, but I am going to be talking about CM Punk, and I'm going to be talking about Triple H. And Triple H's potential announcement on Friday. Now I'll get into the CM Punk news later. But before we go any farther, please remember to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell for weekly content. So, I'll be up here again Saturday and Friday. I'll be up here doing something on Saturday. Don't know what yet, but I'll be up here. Unless there's a pay-per-view or something, I'll try to have something going on Saturdays. I mean, not related to the pay-per-views, but I'll be up here, try to be up here every weekend too. But I'm be more consistent with this channel. Now, let's talk about the Triple H stuff first. Triple H, earlier this week, was reportedly knighted by Endeavor and Ari Emanuel. I think I said his name right. He was given, reportedly, 99.9% creative control of WWE, not Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon, what he did was he sold a lot of his stock to Endeavor and TKO Group. Or TKO, I can't say that. Look, it's a good change for now, but the question is it going to stay that way? Because they're investigating Vince McMahon. Now, if he was knighted, I would think that means he's going to be given creative control no matter what. I don't know exactly how that works. I don't know the whole legal system behind it. I don't know all the insider terms or anything, but that sounds good. That sounds good to me, you know. If Triple H was given complete control of WWE and creative, you know, they probably decided, hey, we want Triple H, we want Hunter in that position. We want him making the decisions on creative. It feels like it did. It's going to take some time to get to this point, but Triple H is eventually going to be building up new people. He's brought more people back from the main event and put them on the main roster. Hopefully we'll see more with freaking Karrion Kross. I know he's not the only one, but he's my favorite one that he's brought back so far. Other than Johnny and Tommaso Ciampa. But hopefully now we'll see these people get featured in more eventful stuff on these shows. You know, Bronson Reed is getting an Intercontinental title match next week against Gunther on Raw. So what does that tell you? Triple H is going to be making an announcement on SmackDown this Friday. Is it going to be War Games? Is it going to be about Jade Cargill? Or is it going to be about Cody coming to SmackDown? Because, well, it might not be. Because Judgment Day still have a rematch on Monday for the tag team titles. Roman Reigns will also be on the show. Hopefully we'll get his opponent set up for Crown Jewel. But this is good. If this is true, this is good. This is a good thing. Because I think the Pillman stuff kind of was a Vince thing, which is fine. Actually, it's really not that bad. It's really not that bad. They're giving him a name change, which I don't like. But it's not something that... I mean, yeah, I'm probably going to still refer to him as Brian Pillman Jr. when I'm calling or doing this stuff. But if he wants to go by Lexus King, then who am I to say no? You can't. You know, I think it's an interesting gimmick. I'll get back to the Triple H stuff in a minute, but I think it's an interesting concept of him wanting to, in storyline, denounce the Pillman name. He's probably going to be going heel. I mean, people that are sighted can tell. They're going to be able to tell, oh, that's Brian Pillman Jr. But, you know, even if they call him Lexus King or Brian King or whatever they want to call him on TV, people are going to know, oh, that's Brian Pillman Jr. He looks just like his dad. Like, he's wearing the Flying Brian shirt, the jacket, with the fringes on it and the chains and stuff like that. You know, I think he's going to do good. And then eventually I think he will revert back to Brian Pillman Jr. Maybe it'll take something, this is way off freaking course with the fantasy booking, but maybe it'll take someone like Stone Cold going, hey, this isn't who you are, you need to go back to you're a Pillman, you're a Pillman deep down inside, or something like that. That's just me, that's how I would do it, but I think eventually, if he can I personally think he should make his name as Brian Pillman Jr., but then again, people are going, I think he doesn't want people comparing him to his dad. Brian Pillman's Junior's not that experienced in the ring yet. He hasn't been doing much. He hasn't been making much progress, and I don't say that to be disrespectful. But the way that they were using him in AEW wasn't exactly the greatest. So I think it'll help him if he goes to WWE and is on NXT. Maybe he'll stay in NXT. Maybe he'll leave NXT and go back to AEW when it's all said and done. Maybe they'll put him on the main roster. Who knows? But we'll see. But Triple H is obviously in control now for the time being. And that's a good thing. I've seen several reports saying the same thing. It's not like with the CM Punk stuff where you have conflicting reports, and we'll get to that, believe me. It's not like that. I've heard several reports from Mike Johnson, Sean Rossap, a couple other people from Fightful Insider or Fightful Select, that Triple H is in almost complete control of the creative process, the creative direction going forward, and that's good. On one hand, I'm excited about this, but on the other hand, I'm like, but what's gonna happen next? If that's the case, I don't know if Vince McMahon's gonna be able to bully his way back into the company anymore. The sale is already done. He's not going to be able to bully his way. He now has a boss. And if they gave that to Triple H, that tells me a lot. But, we'll see. We'll see how long it lasts. We'll see how long it takes. And people are going to have their doubts. Because I know I'm going to see people on Twitter and stuff like that where they're going to be like, he's not doing anything. Like, it's only been 2 weeks and it's not doing... Look, like Solid Monster said on his podcast the other day, or on the Raw review, this stuff doesn't happen overnight. You gotta build new stars. It takes time to build new stars. But we'll see what happens. I'm excited, but I'm also a little nervous because I don't want that to get stopped by Vince if they don't find anything. I hope that regardless of whether Vince McMahon is convicted or not, if they find anything, that this stays, that Triple H remains in power for the foreseeable future. But we'll see what happens, and if you're me, I'm excited about this. If you're like me, you're excited about this. But if you're also me and you are the kind of person that's like, I'll believe it when I see it, that's me too. So I'm kind of on the fence about this. I'm excited, but I'm skeptical at the same time, if you know what I mean. But let's get into CM Punk. Phil's back at it again, guys. CM Punk back at it again. But this could mean he is potentially in talks for a WWE return. I've seen conflicting reports on this, so they're just that. They're rumors. We don't know anything yet. Nothing's been set in stone. I saw a report this morning that Triple H and Nick Khan reportedly declined his return. But we'll see what happens with that. If he does come back, I think it should be at the Royal Rumble, not Survivor Series. Yes, I know, Chicago. CM Punk's from Chicago. But so yeah, I just got another report from Slot Rock Wrestling that CM Punk's return was rejected. But we'll see. Those are just rumors right now. There's conflicting reports. We're not gonna know until he either comes back or we stop seeing. I mean, look, I try not to look into this stuff on Raw and stuff, but there's clearly hints. There's hints that they could be either be messing with us or CM Punk is actually coming in. Because Corey Graves quoted a CM Punk promo on Friday. Shinsuke Nakamura hit the GTS, I think, on Ricochet. That's CM Punk's move, It gets people thinking, oh, is CM Punk really coming in? We don't know that. Because the last time, remember, they put those matches on YouTube, the CM Punk matches. There's the one against Jeff Hardy at SummerSlam 2009 and his SummerSlam match with Brock Lesnar in 2013. But that didn't mean anything. He went to AEW instead. This could just be them messing with us. This couldn't really, Punk might not be coming back to WWE. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I don't know. He would have to get... Here's the thing about this. Here's the thing about Punk coming back that would need to be addressed. Punk would need to, and I mean this with all due respect, because I try not to judge people by their mental health issues. Very hard for me to not do that. And I'm not saying I'm perfect either. But if Punk is going to come back, he would have to get some help. They would probably make him go to anger management. That's what probably might be good for him. If he does go back to WWE, he'll have that beneficial, aid where he'll be able to take these classes if they send him there. And I think they will if he does come in. They'll probably have him take some therapy sessions. Not saying the Punk is, completely bad. He has some good ideas, but I think he would have to work out some stuff before he could come back. He would have to apologize to a lot of people because, on one hand, yeah, WWE brings people back. They brought back the Ultimate Warrior. But here's a guy in CM Punk, and it was really entertaining. And I'm going to review this on the 10-year anniversary next year. I'm going to talk about that podcast. Yep, you know the one. Episode 226 with Colt Cabana, Art of Wrestling podcast. I know they're not friends anymore, so. He went on Colt's podcast for about 2 hours the first time, and then went an hour and a half on the other one, because they did a second episode. Bashing WWE, saying that they mistreated him and other talent, that they misdiagnosed his staph infection, which, if you're misdiagnosing a staph infection, that's pretty freaking serious stuff. Let me tell you. But people are like, oh, who could he really work with if he comes back? Oh, let me see. Roman Reigns, Gunther, AJ Styles, although he'd probably have to apologize to AJ. Brock Lesnar again, Cody, Randy if he comes back, Kofi, Drew McIntyre, LA Knight, Austin Theory, Dominic Mysterio. There's plenty of people he could work with. You know? Just like with Edge, CM Punk would have a whole new roster to work with. Although I'm pretty sure Edge doesn't have any heat with anyone in the AEW locker room, so. I mean, he's back there working with his freaking best friend. And for those of, not that any of you guys would do this, but the small percentage of people online that are saying that, oh, Edge is ruining his legacy by going to AEW, or Adam Copeland. Sorry, I keep forgetting. It's Adam Copeland now. I mean, yeah, I'm still going to call him Edge, but he can't use that name anymore. But, Adam Copeland is ruining his AEW, or his WWE legacy. He's tarnishing his legacy by going to AEW, working for the competition. He wants to work with his best friend. There wasn't much more he could do in WWE. Where, if CM Punk wanted to come back, if he ever got, his stuff straight, and I get it, I'm like this too, and I don't know if it has something to do with being straight edge or not, but yeah, we have a tendency to freaking fly off the handle at certain stuff. And I'm not making that up as an excuse or anything, but I just find it interesting in people like that. But not that that's a bad thing. I mean, yeah, if he wants to be straight edge, I'm all for it. I am too, but I'm trying to come at this from a business angle. The fan of me would love to see CM Punk back in WWE. Actually, the fan of me wants him to be in AEW. But, it could still happen. He could get his head straight. Maybe he doesn't go back to WWE. Maybe Tony tells him, look, you need to go get help if you ever want to come back and work with us. You need to go get help, and you need to go get some issues taken care of. You need to have this conversation with the elite. Maybe even patch things up with Cole. Well, not even do that. It doesn't bother me that he's not friends with Cole, although it would be cool if they would make up. But it bothers me that he has all this heat with people that are potentially higher ups. And I think he's also an EVP too, isn't he? Or wasn't he when he was there? But I think that's what Tony would have to tell him. If he ever came back, I think someone had to advise Tony to tell him, look, you need to tell Punk to get help. And I think Triple H would do the same thing. Because Triple H, ain't going to tolerate that crap. And if CM Punk does come back, that brings in the question, would AJ Lee also come back? Maybe make a couple appearances. I don't know if she would wrestle or not, but I think she would maybe make a couple appearances. But she said for the most part she's done, but never say never. Never say never. Edge came back. Bryan Danielson came back. Stone Cold came back. Christian Cage came back. And that's the cool thing about this. Talking about Edge and Christian for a second. Here's these two guys that grew up as best friends when they were kids. They've been friends all these years. They made it to the WWE together, won all these tag team titles, then had relatively good singles careers in TNA and WWE respectively. And then Christian had a good one when he came back to WWE, but Vince never saw him as the top guy. Edge is forced to retire Christian goes on to win 2 world championships in WWE. He is told that he has to retire in WWE in 2014 because of concussions. Comes back to wrestling, signs with AEW. Edge does the same thing in WWE. They both come back in different companies the same year. Well, I think Christian came back in 2021, but comes back to AEW, wins the TNA World title from Kenny Omega on their show, because Kenny was doing some stuff with Impact for a while. Now he's the TNT champion. Edge has this great run in WWE, comes to AEW. Now they're both in AEW together. It's freaking cool to see both of them there. I mean, that's just me, but I was freaking screaming inside when Edge debuted. I think it's great. And for those of you that are saying, oh, well, he's ruining his legacy. Tony's just bringing in WWE guys. Look, yeah, you don't want to overload your roster with WWE guys, but at the same time, you need those guys there that can elevate and help get your AEW stars over to that next level. If you use them right, yes, it's fine. And so what? If Edge wants to have a feud and wants to have a program with his best friend, I don't have a problem with that. There's a whole new roster over there for him to work with. Same with CM Punk. If he wants to come back to WWE and it's confirmed, he has a whole new roster over there to work with. Some new faces: Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Kofi Kingston, The Miz. New faces like Gunther and Dominic Mysterio and LA Knight. Heck, Luke Gallows is on SmackDown right now. He's not doing anything. Reunite the Straight Edge Society. I don't know what Serena Deeb's doing these days. I don't know if she's even in AEW. But if she's not, and if she wants to go back to WWE, reunite the Straight Edge Society for a little bit. Or make a new Straight Edge Society. I don't know. Just having him and Luke do a one-off tag team against Carl Anderson and AJ Styles. If you ever wanted to have Luke Gallows turn heel again, I don't know. I'm just throwing out ideas. No, there's plenty of people for Punk to work with in WWE. But that's if he wants to come back. I think he might. He was seen talking to Triple H backstage the night that he showed up on Raw. Backstage, and it's exciting. It's an exciting time. We have freaking reunions happening. Best friends potentially feuding in both companies. Kevin and Sammy are next. We have freaking bloodline stuff, which hopefully freaking ends at Mania, or at least Roman's title reign. Oh, there's another one, Solo Sikoa. Paul Heyman's there. Paul Heyman could be there to help him with some stuff that he has too. Maybe Paul Heyman could be CM Punk's Jim Ross. Like JR was for Steve Austin, or for Stone Cold. Steve Austin, then Paul Heyman could be that for CM Punk. That's what I think. And there's Tessa meowing. Hey, baby. You want to say hi? Say hi, Tessa. She's being cute. She's over there with her babies, which we're gonna get rid of soon. But an awesome time to be a wrestling fan right now. I love what's going on in all these companies. Impact, WWE, AEW. Hopefully I'll get to start actually reviewing AEW next year. That's my hope, but we'll see what happens. I think that's going to be it for this episode of Wrestle World Wednesday. I think that went longer than my last one and better than my last one, so I'll get better at this. Don't worry. I'll get better at this. This isn't exactly a podcast yet, officially, but it's in the early stages of maybe becoming one. So, if you're a fan of this kind of thing, if you're a fan of wrestling and you like what I do, please hit that subscribe button. Last time I checked, we were only 18 subscribers away from 50. So if we do 50 subscribers by the beginning of December, I'll be doing a special Christmas giveaway on my channel of a sealed wrestling DVD. So, I have a couple to choose from to give away, and I hope you guys will consider subscribing if you are new here. And hit that notification bell, hit that like button, do all that fun stuff. Give me some traffic, share this stuff. And I'll see you guys later. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.